Hey guys, my name is Dominic,
My name is Jessica.
and this is Us versus the Movies. This is a podcast where we talk about and discuss movies in a really kind of fun, casual way. We're just kind of two friends kicking it, talking about what we either loved or hated about movies.
Yeah, this is our second time revamping the pod. So while we get into this specific genre of podcasting, I wanted to ask Dominic, what do you love about the movies?
So I've been a big movie watcher, big movie goer pretty much since I was a kid. Like some of my earliest memories of ever hanging out with my family, my siblings, my uncles, my parents was just going to the movies. Like one of my earliest memories just in general is going to see the first Spider-Man movie in theaters and not enjoying it a whole lot because
What year was the first Spider-Man movie? Do you know off the top of your head?
I want to say it was like 2002, or 2001, something like that.
Okay.
And I'm
So you were
old enough to have.
7. Okay.
I'm
No,
old enough
you
to
were
have
like
been 7 or 8. Yeah. I don't know why it feels younger than that, but I definitely had seen movies in a theater earlier than that for sure. But for some reason, that's the first one that I can remember, like consciously, like, oh yeah, I was there watching it.
Gotcha.
Embarrassing story about that is that I guess I hadn't been to the movies a whole lot of time because my uncle said that I ended up crying at some point during the movie because I said it was a little bit too loud. I said that I could not handle it. It was too loud. I guess it was overloading my little child senses. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I've been going to the movie. That didn't stop me though. I've been going to the movies like consistently pretty much my entire life, and I love it. It's just one of my favorite hobbies. It's one of my favorite things to discuss. You know what I mean? If I want to sound like, oh, I'm smart and like I want to talk about things in an intelligent way, I think films is just a fun way to do that and kind of like a fun way to have a little bit of a creative outlet. What about you,
Would you call
Jessica?
yourself a cinephile?
No, because
Okay.
I hate the word file with pretty much anything.
Me too.
I can't think of any descriptor that ends in file that is
You can't think of
a good
any?
thing.
Oh, okay.
That ends in file. I can't think of any descriptor that ends in file that's like, yes, I want to be a part of that. Like I got nothing. I don't know.
Maybe
But
too intense of a description.
a little bit.
So I would call myself a cinephile, mostly because I like
Okay,
words
bold.
that sound a little dirty.
Bold.
It just means you're into movies. Does it? Should I look that up first?
Sure.
What is the official
know,
definition of cinephile?
So I'll admit it. I actually have never heard that term until now.
Oh.
Never heard that term. I just assume file at the end of it is like not a great descriptor.
Right,
Like
right.
file to me sounds like, oh, whatever you're into, you're taking it too far. You're taking it a little bit too far. But I don't know.
You know what I would describe myself as then? I'm an A-lister.
Yeah.
That's right, baby. I give
An A-lister.
AMC
Okay.
24, 25. They raise it every like couple months, so maybe 30 at this point.
Yeah.
Dollars, so that I can, sneak in there. I love the movies. I love the movie theater. I'm a fan of watching movies at home. Obviously, I'm only human. I can't justify going all the time to the movies, but I love going to the movies. I love catching a matinee. I love when it's just me and like one other old person in there at 11 a.m. on a Tuesday. Oh my God. That's when the cinephile really comes out. Because while you were talking, I remember my first movie experience as well in theaters. And I think maybe it's a similar thing where maybe I had seen a different movie first. But the one I can remember seeing and being so like aware in the movie seat of like, oh, this is my first movie and it's a good one. It's The Day After Tomorrow. Do you remember that movie?
Okay. No, I'm not sure I actually ever saw it. When did it come out?
I don't know. Not a
like, I don't know.
But
She's
it's
like,
Jake
I'm not
and Emmy Rossum from Shameless and Jack Quaid. No.
Oh yeah, I know Jack Quaid. Yeah.
Is that the dad or the son?
Really?
Daniel No.
Wait, Jack Quaid is the son. He's
Dennis
the
Quaid.
baby,
Dennis Quaid is the daddy. Dennis
Quaid.
Canceled,
Okay, I was about to say
at the time. Oh my God, what?
I did not know that
cast. Like that's.
Really?
Yeah, and that movie was really good. That movie is so good. That is the type of movie that you should take a child to go see, because it's like, it's apocalypse, like the end of the world, the ice age, and seeing that on a big screen. I'm a big fan of movies.
Got you.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Same
I
here.
think where we maybe diverge is you mentioned comedies and action movies. And I do like action movies in theaters, but those are not usually the movies that I walk away from like eager to recommend or rewatch. I'm more like, I'm really looking forward to seeing Tony in theaters. Okay. I like slightly different. I like really sad movies. I like maybe like
sense,
dramas, suspenseful movies. I'm a big fan of horror, but I don't think those are great movies. I just think they're a fun experience. I don't think most horror movies are good movies. There are a few, obviously, and A24 has certainly been changing the landscape.
They've been on it. Yeah. Well, it's funny because I didn't actually, I forgot to mention it earlier, but yes, I do like horror movies too. They freak me out, and I can only do certain types of horror, and I'm always in the theater like this, like.
Yeah.
But in general, I do really enjoy them too, for sure. But it's a good, so you really like movies too. I really like movies. We've been friends, so a little behind the scenes, we've been friends for years. We always talk about movies all the time. Like, every time we get together, one of our favorite things to do is just talk about like, what have you seen lately? What movies? So we've been doing this for so long. We were like, might as well turn on a camera, get some cheap podcasting equipment, because it is super cheap and anybody can get it nowadays, and just start making it an actual project. So that's what we're here to do.
Yeah, this is really what a conversation would look like. Maybe a little more structured for the sake of a video, but for the most part, This is how detailed we get when we talk about movies. I do want to preface,
very much so,
I don't think this will happen with this movie, because I think overall we had a pretty good, and we can talk about that in a minute, but
yeah,
we are really good friends, Dominic and I. If at any point we disagree, I think it's part of the fun is disagreeing with your friends and then getting to have those conversations like, well, why did you like that and why did you hate that? For sure, it's all fair. Like we're being cool. We're not actually arguing. No one's gonna nothing terrible is gonna happen here over a simple discussion.
No,
we're good.
Right. No actual bad blood. I'm pretty sure Jessica just put that out there because she's about to spend the next, 45 minutes or so like completely roasting me and my movie takes.
You had a lot more to say about this movie than I did, so.
No, okay, but even still, we're in for a good time though. Y'all are in for a good time. This podcast is going to be on YouTube, TikTok, and eventually we're going to spread out to a few more platforms. So, but for right now, make sure you like the video, subscribe on YouTube, and follow us on TikTok.
Yeah. Us versus the movies.
Us versus the movies. Exactly. For sure.
And for this week, our inaugural movie, I don't know why I decided once I turned this, I'm like, let me bust out all the fanciest words I can think of.
Right.
That I'm not sure how to pronounce.
I'm glad you did. I think you got that right. Inaugural.
Our first movie.
Inaugural, whatever.
Supergirl.
Yes,
so before we get into the actual
DC's
like
own.
nitty gritty review, because we're gonna not tear the movie apart. We're gonna go into details here. If you haven't seen the movie, we'll let you know when spoilers are coming. But for now, I just want to get a little letterbox review, if you will. What did you think of Supergirl?
For sure.
2026.
So I thought Supergirl 2026 DC's own. James Gunn's, but not James Gunn's, but kind of his. Mm-hmm. Anyways, I thought it was really good. I think DC Supergirl, for any of y'all don't know, is part of the James Gunn revamped DC universe. They had the initial DCU that was out with Man of Steel, Justice League, Aquaman, all those movies that are very hit or miss. They're either like amazing or terrible. There was not a lot of in between. In those old DC universe movies, it feels like James Gunn is coming in with this new universe and kind of resetting the bar. So far, first movie was Superman. The second project, I believe, was Creature Commandos. Haven't watched that yet. The third project was this, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm forgetting anything, I'm sorry. Y'all can comment down below and tell me, hey, you idiot, you're forgetting something. But yeah, so far, I think this falls right in line with the other projects, right in line with Superman. I really did enjoy it. I really, really did. I think one of the good things that James Gunn is doing is he's not afraid to put a lot of emotion and a lot of like kind of heartfeltness isn't like a real word, but he's not afraid to put that behind both this movie and Superman. And I'm assuming the movies that he's going to do in the future too. Because if you've ever seen any James Gunn film, that's something he does better than pretty much any director. Is he brings the emotion, he brings the heartfeltness, he brings like a real, you know, he hits you right here. And that's really important because I think most superhero movies are kind of lacking in that department. Now, he didn't direct this movie. This is not a James Gunn movie, but he's kind of like the new Kevin Feige of this universe. And so you can still kind of see his influence on it. And I'm actually going to take a minute to look up, yes, the director's name. I have forgot it, but
Craig.
I got it here. It's Craig Gillespie. Yes, exactly. Craig Gillespie. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. I thought Craig did an incredible job. I thought the entire cast did a great job. And I honestly would say don't fall for, you know, all the negativity you see online. Like if you really have some time, I would say go see this movie for sure. It is a good movie.
Okay.
What about you, Jessica? What did you think of it?
My spoiler-free review was okay. I think it was what I thought it would be. I did see the Superman, like the David Cornsweet. I hate that that's his last name. But I did see that movie, so it felt very similar, I guess. I was excited mostly because I like Millie Alcock. I think she's a good actress. I'm a fan. I'm happy to see her in this. I also thought the little girl played by Eve Ridley was good as well. I love seeing women in leads, and I'm not familiar with superhero movies, so I a lot of the stuff that you talked about with like James Gunn and what he's bringing to the table doesn't really mean much to me. But I did enjoy it. I thought it was fun. I saw it in theaters. I think I saw it in theaters opening week, not opening day, but that same weekend. It was fun.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
I watched it with my mother, who enjoyed it, which I think is always a testament to like a movie just being like a fun watch. I think superhero movies are sometimes guilty of like not taking into account the person that might be jumping in. And so they'll bring a ton of like lore, assuming like, oh, when we put this person on screen and give them like a 5-second, like just a still shot of them, you're going to lose your mind. Yeah. And if you aren't familiar with that character, you don't. And then it just feels a little awkward. And this movie didn't do that. So I think it was all around good. Unfortunately, as is the case with most superhero movies, I do not think this is going to be a movie I'll rewatch in the future, but not a movie I regretted watching or seeing in theaters. So yeah, that's it for me.
That is it for the spoiler-free section. So now we're going to get into the actual spoilery part of the review. So if you haven't seen it, but you plan on seeing it and you don't want to know what's going to happen, then go ahead and pause the video, still like and subscribe, and then come back to the rest of it to hear our thoughts.
Okay, so this movie, here's what I did appreciate about it. And it feels very you talked to me a little bit about the influence of James Gunn in these like more upbeat kind of vibey movies. This movie felt like it started off with a bang. That opening scene we get an introduction to Kara, name pronounced Car. I had to look that up.
Yes.
Kara? No, Kara. Car like a car?
Yes.
Kara, our Supergirl.
I think the actual I think you jumping
You're
ahead
so
just
right.
a smidge.
I'm
You're jumping
wrong.
ahead just a smidge. But
it's
okay.
Jumping ahead.
It doesn't really matter. It's fine. We can talk about Kara. That's cool. It's not literally the opening scene, but she's the main character of the movie. Let's just roll with it.
Boys, or like I'm thinking of we'll do like the title.
Yeah.
But it'll be like a minute into the actual show.
Oh, you know who does this really, really good? Invincible. I don't know if you've seen Invincible or not.
Yes. Invincible does this
perfectly. Yes.
Yes. That's what this felt like. So when I'm thinking opening scene, I'm thinking of Kara like in her spaceship. We get the pan of like the really messy and crypto. That I think of as a beginning, and then what can we call that? Like a prelude?
Yeah, like prologue. I think is sort
sure.
of. I don't know. It's the same thing. I don't know.
Is the actual opening scene. Which I guess, yeah, let's talk about that first because I think it introduces what might be the biggest flaw of the movie.
Okay, let's get into it. Yes, because I think because to be fair, when we, another behind the scenes moment, when we were discussing, this movie like for the first time before we actually got on here to record it, I did the same thing in my head. I was thinking the first scene of the movie was Kara and her first moments, right?
Yeah.
The issue is the actual first scene. It's kind of like the villain of the movie in general, as in it's not super memorable. It's just not, and I think that's kind of part of the issues. So we open with kind of what happens.
Yeah. Krem is our villain. We open with Krem showing up to. We've learned is this new a different planet. We're not on Earth. We are never on Earth in this movie, except for the flashbacks. We're on this planet where a family's having dinner. It looks like. And Krem, our villain, shows up to steal some fucking swords or something. I still don't fully understand what he was there for. I was like, oh, these swords are gonna be like magical, and they're just good sword. Like there was nothing particularly interesting that I could tell. Anyway, bad guy shows up, and he's like, "Give me that pie." I don't. Is that a pie or something?
Oh and yeah, no.
He dead ass. No. He eats this family's meal.
Krem was really hungry in this movie. Yeah, we're gonna talk about another thing later, but he was super. His most memorable moments is with his mouth full. Honestly.
Yeah. So we get him. We get an introduction of him, who looks a little goofy.
Yeah.
Just not a great villain, unfortunately.
Yeah. So for me, I already kind of touched on it a little bit, but my biggest kind of is, hold on, before we get into the full review, I want to preface this again by saying I actually really did like the movie. I promise I did.
We got that already.
But that
you can be mean now.
I just got to make sure. But that being said, though, yeah, Krem was he was the weakest point in the movie. He was not very memorable. Yeah. I think the biggest thing for me is really when it comes to superhero movies, really any action movie in general, right? Like if you're gonna have if you're gonna have a movie about a character who is supposed to feel larger than life in certain instances, right? Like very big, strong, like powerful, like a character that can carry a lot on their shoulders. I think you need a foil and a villain who kind of counters that, and that is not at all what Krem gives Supergirl at all.
Yeah.
We're gonna get into it a little bit later, but I actually think part of the weird thing about the movie, they did a good job of adjusting it, but because he doesn't carry a very big presence, they have to kind of find different ways to nerf Supergirl throughout the movie so that they're kind of on the same wavelength. Honestly, like instead of building up a villain who definitely matches her, they're like, let's just knock her down a few pegs to make sure that she lines up with him. But I mean, that's pretty much all. Yeah.
We're introduced to Krem, who ends up killing an entire family except for Ruthie, who's a little girl of this family that she stays alive because I guess she's a little girl, and also doesn't completely line up with who he is as a character, who we know later steals little girls. Whatever. Yeah. Who am I to judge the writing here? But yeah, to me it didn't feel like much of a scene. My intro was, and now here's Kara,
right.
who I love. Okay, so that scene. Let's get to that scene. We get this beautiful like pan. We have music, sleigh bells in the background. We have Crypto pissing on a newspaper with
I forgot about that. Hold on.
With David Cornsweet on the cover. I'm pretty sure.
While you're talking, I'm going to show off my little like toys because I actually but anyway, yeah, I got Crypto right here, but keep going though. I just want to show them off.
So we understand. Here's what I love about that. We talked about this. This is a personal thing for me. I do not like movies that are so heavy on exposition. I like movies that like tell me about a character by showing me, as opposed to like, this is who this person is. Like, there was never a line that was like, oh my God, you're so messy. Like, what a messy girl. Like, none of that. It was just, we get to see her spaceship, which is a fucking mess, right?
Yes. Yeah. you can see through this opening scene and how she carries herself, how she keeps her living quarters, the way she interacts with Crypto. Oh yeah, she got a lot going on, and cleaning is the last of what's on her mind for sure.
Mm-hmm. And even in this scene, I think the scene did, and they kind of go and they undo what I loved about the scene, which is we see a montage of her like partying, like out, she's clubbing, she's getting drunk, right? Mm-hmm. And then we see her making comments to Crypto that are like, I need to get to a yellow sun like now, right? And then we see her out there in space playing like catch with Crypto, and clearly we know healing from that sun. But then later on in the movie, you know, they have her like make it very clear to the audience, like, I heal with the yellow sun, and alcohol doesn't taste as good on the, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I was like, I don't need to know all that. You already told me that in the intro, in what I consider the intro. It just felt a little redundant, but
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I was like, we're fine. I don't need to know that. I personally don't need to know that, you know, she prefers drinking on these type of planets. And I was like, cut all that. Just give me her being a little messy. Also, and this is me just, as a girl, I love how women are portrayed in movies and in TV who are supposed to be like messy and a little like, oh, she's rough around the edges, and she still looks stunning.
Oh yeah,
like I know
it's
they like
zhuzhed
her hair a little bit, and they're like, look at how dirty, and like she's not taking good care of herself. Still looks great. Beach waves, like fresh off of that curling iron, like
literally still perfect.
Yeah. But that's whatever. I loved it. I love the introduction to Kara. Fun scene.
We can get into so the next scene is kind of with Ruthie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're at a bar, and this is on a red planet sun. Is that right? Because she's drunk. She's just in there drinking. Crypto's there, and Ruthie, the little girl whose family was just murdered by Creme, just annihilated, just brother, mom, father, all gone for for a sword. I still don't, whatever. She shows up and she's very cute. Let's talk about this actress. She is so endearing,
adorable.
Not so young that I feel like sometimes when they go really young with these type of castings, they run the risk of it feeling unrealistic. Like any younger and I would have been like, oh, that little girl, like what is she doing? But I think this was a sweet spot. She's still young enough where like, oh, it's sweet. And she's got her like big girl clothes on, her little, and she's like, I'm Ruth of family whatever, her long ass title. And she's offering one of her family's swords for the help of whoever is willing to help her like capture Creme. But I think ideally in her mind, right, whoever volunteers would help her catch him, and then she would be the one allowed to kill him or do whatever.
Yes, I think that was the plan.
Again, I was
not a very good plan, but
but I was waiting in the scene for someone to say something about the sword. It just seemed like, it's a nice sword.
I'm glad you brought that up because there's quite a few different moments in this movie. The intro, right, with Creme here, and then even later on in the movie, there's a few different moments where you get some kind of like zoom in on a sword, or someone makes a comment about the sword, or or like the sword gets dropped in battle or something, and they pick it up and they're like, oh, like, you know, and it felt like they were leading up to, man, this is going to be some kind of special sword that does something. And spoiler alert, it don't. It's just a sword.
No, and then much later we see it just kind of in a room with other shit that I'm assuming they've stolen. And I was like, this is it. Like, he went through all of this, singled out this family, and then we don't even get a reveal of like
sword.
Anything.
Right. Yeah.
But anyway,
and it's for sure. It's a little weird, but you know, it's fine.
Yeah.
But Ruthie,
Kara,
I guess,
doesn't initially volunteer to help.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about that?
I liked it because you know what it gave me. Seeing her sit at the bar drinking, and someone comes in and they clearly, like, it's almost like she knows in her head, like, oh, please don't turn into some shit, because if it turns into some shit, I'm gonna have to get involved. You know what? Are you gonna
reference Wolverine?
Absolutely, it gave me
what is
all
it? He's
the
like,
Logan
fuck
vibes.
off.
Yes, exactly. Yes,
I love those
we've seen
movies. Damn,
we've seen that in several scenes that in all the movies he's been in. Like he's
I guess
everyone's
I've only
favorite.
seen the one.
They do it in like after credit scenes with him in movies he was barely in. Like they do it all the time. Like that's Marvel Entertainment's favorite thing, to show Wolverine in a beat up nasty tank top, drinking. Someone's like, hey man, we need your help.
Where like James McAvoy and whoever plays Magneto, he's really hot. Michael Fassbender, is that his name?
I can look it up, but I don't remember his name.
Okay.
But
yeah, they walk in and they're like, hey, we're recruiting, and he like immediately cuts him off and is like, get away.
Piss off. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're right, it did give those vibes. But she steps in when some like big alien looking thing steals the sword and just walks out, like no intention of actually helping Ruthie, just leaves. And then we see her step in. So I didn't understand the way that this worked. She's still strong. She just doesn't have like full control of her powers because she's not on, or because she's drunk. I don't really understand.
I read it differently. This is just my read on it, and maybe I'm not the authority on this. I'm not going to pretend to be. But the way I read this scene was like, she's on a red sun planet, so she's weakened. But the red sun weakens them, kind of similar to like kryptonite sort of weakens them. But kryptonite is more like a poison. Red sun is kind of like it weakens them a little bit, right? Long story short, I feel like everybody, all the guys, because she ends up in a fight with like a couple different guys at this bar, and she ends up in fights with a bunch of random people throughout the movie who are not super powered at all. But in order to, I kind of alluded to it earlier, in order to put her on the same level playing field as them to make these fights interesting, they kind of had a lot of this movie take place on red sun planets or solar systems. But I think the red sun, it's not actively murdering you, right? Like if she spent the rest of her life on
maybe like, because if the idea is that on a planet like our planet, she wouldn't be able to get drunk because her body's naturally like healing whatever alcohol is doing. I figured it was maybe like, oh, she's still strong, but she can't, like, now she can feel the punches. Like she's not.
Yes, I think that's a good way to.
Bit more.
Yes, I think the best way to describe it is kind of like her watching her beat people's asses in this scene kind of reminds me of, okay, a normal human who's like, it almost reminded me of a regular action movie where we're not watching superheroes. If like James Bond or somebody is fighting a group of guys and it's like they're clearly a better fighter than them, so they can take on like 10 guys and it's no big deal, but they're not like inherently stronger than them. That's what it's felt like. It's like, okay, she's nerfed down to their level, so, but that being said, she already had more experience and stuff than them. One thing I thought that was really interesting during this scene, and I think it's just because we haven't really seen that at all from David Cornsweet, Superman, or really any of the Supermans in the last few years, right? Like any of the movies. Do you think Kara's a better just like actual normal fighter than Superman? Like hand to hand fighting? Like if you were to say like, oh, their powers aren't a thing, do you think, not them fighting each other, but like just as a skilled combat, like
wouldn't even know how to judge that. Like I have no
I know it doesn't matter, but
I've watched something and been like, oh, he's a better fight. Like that's just not.
It's not your vibe. I think about that kind of stuff all the time while I'm watching movies. And it's mainly because, like I said, like we've never really seen, every time we've seen Superman in a situation where his powers are either compromised or whatever, he is like on a verge of about to die, like gasping for air, like literally on death's bed. Whereas Kara, in quite a few situations in this movie, she's like, all right, anyway, like I bet you can't fight me though. And she still went, like, I don't know, it just made me wonder, like, does she have some kind of extra training or something like that? Like she feels like she knows how to fight outside her powers, where a lot of times you watch Superman and it's like his powers is it, like he doesn't actually know how to fight, if that makes sense. Like he doesn't know, like, I don't know, fucking jiu-jitsu or anything like that.
It makes me think of like anytime I've watched against my will, really, anytime I've been like at a party and there's been like a fight, like a UFC or a boxing, are those two different things? Yeah, right.
UFC, and boxing, Anytime
there's anything like that, I could not tell you who's winning. I'm like, until one of them falls to the ground and doesn't get back up, your guess is as good as mine, bud. Like, I could not.
If any in a knockout, you're like,
he hit him harder. Like, what is? I have no idea. So I couldn't tell you just from looking at the movies, like who's a better fighter. I'm gonna say Kara just because I feel like it.
I'm with it. That's cool.
Okay, so we get. So a lot happens in what feels like a short period of time. Unfortunately, we also have to talk about Crypto here because Ruthie, after seeing Kara, but Ruthie, after seeing Kara beat that guy up, that alien up. I don't know what the right pronouns are, and then return the sword to Ruthie, and then dips. Right? She's like, okay, I gotta go. Yeah. She follows her back to her spaceship the next day.
Okay.
Yeah. And she's like, you got to help me or whatever. She's doing whatever. She's a little annoying. I'll give you that. I know you called her like the worst.
That's not true. And you know it. That's not. Okay. All right. You don't make me really defend myself. That's crazy. No, I did not call her the worst. I made a comp of her compared to.
Useless, I think you said.
Nope.
Worthless.
Anybody who's ever played God of War. The new ones, right? The new God of War games knows what I'm talking about. They're at what's his name? Atreus or Atrium or something like that. I forgot. But anyways, there's a trope of I don't remember his name. It's something with an A. It's a weird name. Okay, whatever. I forgot his name. But anyway,
Attic.
There's yeah, his name's Attic. But no, there's a whole subset of characters in a lot of these movies where it'll be a kid or sometimes an old person or whatever, like that's just there kind of not just to get in the way. She definitely has a lot of value here, and I really do like Ruthie as a character, but there's a lot of moments where Kara gets into fights or things will happen and she has to slow down just a little bit to either save Ruthie or make
to help
sure she's
the child.
Right. And the thing that gets kind of like a little annoying about it, don't hate it, again, it's fine, is that you know, if the child wasn't there, but Kara was in these situations, it'd be a quick like, phew, like she just sweep it up, be done with it, whatever. Like, and to be fair, the movie wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Ruthie. She is a central character, the central plot point of the movie. I get it. So I'm not saying she shouldn't be here. All I'm saying is it's really annoying because there's a bunch of different parts in this movie where Kara's like, sit still, sit here, like don't move, like. Fucking don't get yourself killed, right? Like, let me handle my business for 5 seconds. And Ruthie's like, okay. Anyways, fuck that. And then and we're back in the same kind of loop.
Yeah,
and it's like, all right, I can only watch that for so many times before I'm like, Ruthie, please sit still.
I guess the way you felt about Ruthie is how I felt about Crypto. I do not care for this dog. I don't give a fuck about this dog.
Oh, no. But like...
Sorry to that dog.
Oh my gosh, I love Crypto. That is so funny. I'll admit,
I wish he looked a little more real.
Yeah, so the CGI in it, that I think I'm glad you brought that up. I think that is a good point to kind of bring up here. The CGI was a little bit rough in this movie in general, but especially in the parts with Crypto. It looked a little rough. I don't understand why they couldn't. I don't know anything about technology, so I'm not even go there. But like, we couldn't just get like some kind of version of what an actual little white dog would look like, or even
because he's CGI'd the whole time, right? Like, there's no we took a real dog, and then for the scenes where he has to like fly, we do some CGI there.
Nothing.
It's a whole
like,
fucking. It's awful.
Even when you said at the beginning when he was just sitting there like pissing on a newspaper, still CGI as hell.
On one hand, I was not a fan.
Yeah, but it's okay. Anyways, yeah.
Yeah, but here's the reason, he's the reason why Kara's invested in helping Ruthie, solely because when Ruthie, and again, kind of weird writing here, when Ruthie finds her in her spaceship and she's trying to convince her, they walk a little bit away, and Krem is there all of a sudden, and he's there with like his Goonies or whatever. Are we allowed to call him that?
What'd you say?
Never mind. I'm gonna breeze past that. But Krem is there with like a bunch of his people, and they hop on the spaceship.
Yeah.
Presumably to steal the spaceship or steal stuff on the spaceship. I don't know. I think they're like looters. Unclear, right?
Yeah.
Crypto notices turns around to like go bark at them like most dogs do. Like, I'm not, whatever.
So essentially, yeah, Crypto did his job
Right?
as a good boy and a security dog. Like, hey, some shit's going on and you're not paying attention. Y'all are too busy arguing.
Yeah.
Pay attention.
And Krem shoots him with some sort of poison.
Yeah. Okay. So yes.
Okay. Yeah.
It's that was
He gets
a thing.
hit.
Strange.
They bring Crypto to some other alien. I actually really liked her. Something about her design I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah.
She looked like a bug, like a big old bug.
It's funny when they first showed her, I thought she would be a little bit more of an important character. Like I thought we'll get little like scenes throughout the movie of her being like,
which is like a doctor.
Man, they better hurry. Yeah, like they better hurry up and do this because this dog isn't gonna make it and see. But no, they were just like, all right, anyways.
Yeah, no, they bring Crypto to this lady. This again, no idea how to this being, and she tells them, yeah, so he's been poisoned with something that's paralyzing him, and he'll be dead in 3 days. Actually,
3
what is she? She doesn't even say that. She's like 3 sunrises,
maybe, or 3
no,
sundowns.
It's a reference to the moon.
Moon rises or something. I feel like it's something like moon
like
cycles. Moon cycles.
The moon cycles. I think something. Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. Something
right.
like that. Yeah. I don't.
But the point is, we get a countdown, and I know, I'm watching a superhero movie. I can't fucking stand. Why is it always like this? We have 2 days to save the world, or we got 24 hours, 48 hours before they blow up the nuclear reactor. It's always whatever. And again, it's the dog who I do not care for. So I was
the whole thing, you were just like not about it.
I just felt very. Honestly, I would have preferred it if Ruthie. You called her Ruby. Now I'm calling her Ruby. If Ruthie had managed, you called her Ruby.
Whoops.
For a long time, not now, but you called her Ruby. I think.
Okay. Okay. I was like,
But I would have preferred if that conversation had just been Ruthie successfully convincing Kara to help her.
Yeah, I think that would have
done
actually.
Without the crypto.
Yeah, especially once we learn later on what Kara's kind of character is about. You know what I mean? Like, and I'll go ahead and kind of say it. It's a little spoilery, but whatever, right? I'll get into it. We're going to get into it a little bit more later. Kara's whole thing and what she, I guess, the phrase that kind of keeps her going, her mission statement, if you will, is like, be good. What is it? It's like, you can be good, but you don't have to be kind, or something weird like that. I don't know. It's something along those lines where it's like, you can be good but not kind. Something. It's basically like her mom told her that when she was a kid, and it was basically like, you know, like, you're a good person, Kara. She raised her with good values, so she's always gonna do the right thing, but you don't always have to be super nice and like friendly and like, you know what I mean? I hate that I'm butchering it because it actually felt kind of powerful in the movie when you see it, but it lines up because especially in that first scene where she begrudgingly gets up and is like, all right, fine, I'll help Ruthie. Like, right. I think. Do you think though the reason they didn't do it here is because if she would have just agreed to help Ruthie, maybe she would have. Well, there's two problems with that. Number one, it would have been her being kind, and that, like, I feel like half this movie is kind of that. Like, she's not a nice person. Like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then the second thing is we would have had to. The second thing is we probably would have ended up with Crypto again in the whole movie, kind of like he was in Superman, because if he doesn't get shot with the poison and he's not the plot point.
You think maybe that's it? They didn't have the CGI budget to keep Crypto around for the whole movie?
I think I think that's part of it, but I think also they just showed us Crypto was legit, probably had like 45 to 50% of the screen time in Superman. So they're like, okay, we can't do that again. We can't. Like, this universe can't revolve around Crypto, even if it secretly does. Even if he's a driving plot point behind all these movies somehow.
Yeah.
We can't have him be like the main character. So they're like, all right, we're gonna give him a little break, and then, but in the next one, he's gonna be.
I don't know. I just didn't like the dog, man. I can't get past.
That's fair. Hey, I don't blame you. It's totally fine. No big deal. Yeah. I mean, one thing I'll say before we kind of keep going is that I even if you don't love this scene and how it goes, I think from here on out, this movie does a way better job than most superhero movies of kind of keeping the plot moving. Like, it feels like we're almost, I'm not going to say nonstop from here, but the plot is actually really tight and organized and functional from here on out. And I love superhero movies. I love them to death. Those are my favorite genre of movies. But there's so many moments in other superhero movies where I'll be watching like halfway through or 3/4 of the way through and be like, so why are we doing this? Or what's the point of this? Or wait, what's happening? It feels like there's no clear way to the end. Whereas this feels like we are full steam ahead from this moment on, driving directly to the end. And there's really no stopping. And I actually like that. I actually like it. Like, this is one of the better things about this was a very focused plot.
Yeah, I mean, this kicks off, like, Crypto being shot does kick off the rest of the movie, it feels like, where now there's a goal, right? Kara has no option but to help Ruthie, because the idea is that she'll get access to the antidote that Krem and his, like, people carry around on, like, a little chain.
Right.
I guess.
Right.
At least that's what the doctor told her, the vet. And so Ruthie and Kara take off, and we have...
Yes.
It's interesting that you say... Yeah, I mean, I guess it does give them like a goal, right? They have to track down Krem, and his people are called... What are they called? I wrote this down somewhere. The Brigands? Am I making that up?
No, that sounds right. The Brigands are the... Yeah.
Yeah.
You might as well just call them the Bros or whatever.
Yeah. Krem and his Bros. Yeah, and we're going to talk about that. I'm going to get into that. Krem and his Bros.
The Bros.
But
the
yeah,
boys.
they take off. We get... did you have anything to say about this? I thought, as fun as the scene was, where they are on a bus, essentially, because they've stolen Kara's spaceship. So her and Ruthie have to, like, literally go on, like, the bus, the intergalactic metro, if you will. The bus that they're on gets stopped by... I wrote down techno pirates. If that's not the term, I love it. So that's what I'm going to call them. I think that's the term that they use in the movie. Techno pirates. It's like pirates.
There's some variation of space thieves that have really advanced technology. Yeah. So I mean, that sounds right. Yeah.
And they stop the bus that they're on to steal anything and everything. So at one point they take... Kara has this little almost like a pocket watch is what it looks like. Which she's set to count down 3 days. And Ruthie has her family's sword. That is just a fancy sword.
It's just a sword. Yeah. It was really long, but yeah, it's just a sword.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, that scene was fun, interesting. I liked that we see her like struggle again, but then she's able to get to a yellow sun and heal herself. And then she's back at it, better than ever. And
I think that's... Oh, go on. Yeah.
Did you think that was sort of the whole point of the scene?
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah, I think that's it was a very fun fight scene, and it's one of the few scenes in the entire movie where she isn't really hindered or nerfed or like beaten down or something or poisoned or sleepy or drunk or whatever. Like, this is one of the few moments in the movie where you get to see Supergirl fighting like an actual superpowered Kryptonian, you know? And so it was pretty cool. I like that about it. But otherwise, yeah, I don't. It was cool. It was cute. Kept the thing going. Yeah, it was cute.
That little like rat thing was cute. I guess
one of the other cool things about it was in order for Kara to get to the point where she got to the sun to power herself back up, they didn't just like fly by a sun and it was like, hey, she had to do a bunch of little tricky things. She had to trick the techno pirates. She had to like get herself flung out like she was pretty smart. You could say it was smart, you could say it was luck, but to me it showed some interesting in I guess you could say battle IQ. Like she was smart. She's crafty.
Yeah. Okay, but eventually through the techno pirates they learn that Krem and his bros are at a planet called something Blimpies, let's call it that.
I have written in my notes Blickies. Yeah, I don't know what. I guess
Blickies.
So. Yep.
So that's where they go. They go to try and find him, right? And they end up at a dive bar, where we get the introduction of maybe the only character, the last character in this movie
that like
right?
actually
we
matters.
Have Kara, we have Ruthie, we have Krem,
and then this guy.
So Kara, some guy, the warning that the techno pirates give, I believe it's the techno pirates that give Kara the warning, is that this planet, she initially thinks like, isn't that like a dead planet? And it's like, no, actually Krem and his bros have ransacked it.
Yeah.
And they steal girls off the planet.
Yeah, this was wild. Yeah.
So Kara, with no disguise, which I was like, that's okay. All right. So you're super strong, but like put on a cloak or something. Put something on Ruthie, because she's just out there.
Well,
like,
I think at this
girl.
point she has like the little trench coat on or whatever. So it's like, you got to think about it. I mean, I agree. She should probably not bring the little girl into the place full of dangerous criminals who like trafficking little girls. Like, not a smart plan. But at the same time, I don't think she had nothing to worry about personally, because it's like, it's not like she was dressed in her,
I guess
we should probably say it, she wasn't dressed in her like Supergirl outfit or whatever. Like, you can't see her, and so why would they just automatically know who she is?
But she's very clearly a girl. Like, both of these are very.
I see what you're
girls.
saying. Yeah, it's like you're not saying like, oh, you know, disguise yourself from being Supergirl. You're just like, oh, you're a girl. Like, don't walk in here and
maybe look like a boy. Yeah.
Like put up a little ponytail with a hat or something.
Yeah, something. But anyways, they land on this planet. She ends up fighting a bunch of other alien looking things at this dive bar, because they all like, they're fighting her for Ruthie, which is, again, I was like, okay, whatever. She wins because she's Supergirl, right?
Yeah.
We get another cool fight where she outpowers all of these people.
Yeah.
And we get the introduction of Lobo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Played by Jason Momoa.
Yeah. So I saw a lot of the discourse online when people were discussing this movie, being like, why is he in this movie again? What was the point? They just kind of shoehorned him here. I can't necessarily disagree, but it still was I still had a good time seeing him. I'm not gonna lie. It was pretty fun. This opening scene with him in it, I'll admit, I was like, okay, what's his deal? Like, they didn't really do a good job showing his motivations one or the other, what his deal was, whatever, you know what I mean? And I think it's because they want to do a good job of keeping him mysterious. Because in the comics, sometimes they like to make Lobo a good guy, sometimes he's a bad guy. They like to play on both sides. So I think this movie overall wanted to leave the door open to either or. But this scene in general definitely does that. It's like, because they introduce him, he's big and bad, and like Kara is kind of nervous around him. She's like, oh, like she knows who he is, and she's just like, she starts acting different, and she's just like, oh, you know, we gotta, I don't know, it's weird. She kind of like tries to suck up to him, which I didn't love that, and I didn't really fully understand why. But I guess, was the implication supposed to be, is he a hothead? So it's like, oh, if she doesn't, he's gonna just pick a fight? Like,
yeah, I think she was, yeah, because she tells Ruthie like he killed everyone on his planet.
Okay.
Right?
Something like that. Yeah. He killed his whole clan or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I will say I did love how Lobo and Kara didn't have it. There was no like flirty banter. Nothing. Or like, loved it. I did not. I wish it had been anyone but Jason Momoa. I like Jason Momoa.
Oh no,
he's fine. Why though? Because this is something I think I told you.
Yeah.
When the opening credits came on and I saw his name flash across the screen,
yeah,
I was like, "Oh, are we at some point going to see Aquaman?" Because why the fuck?
Yeah.
And I'm not a superhero person. Yeah. Like, I do not follow these movies. But my brain did the thing where I'm making connections, right?
Yeah.
I have a hard time also differentiating between Marvel and
DC. Yeah.
DC. So my brain goes, okay, fuck. Because in my head, we talked about this before. We've talked about this. I'm like, okay, who exists in the same universe as who else?
Oh, yeah.
So I was doing the thing where I was like, I've never seen Supergirl next to someone else, like in the movie or anything.
Yeah.
But I know she's in Superman's world.
Yes.
And Superman is in the same world as Wonder Woman.
Okay. Yeah, we're getting there.
And Wonder Woman was in a movie with Jason Momoa.
Yes.
And Jason Momoa played goddamn Aquaman.
Yes.
So I was literally that name came across and I was like, at some point are we gonna flash to Earth and Jason Momoa is just gonna be there? And because the whole movie takes place in space, I was like, are they gonna shoehorn him in like a flashback? Like what the? Where is he gonna? So when he showed up as Lobo, I was like, and why the fuck is he here?
What the fuck? You were just all kinds of
Does
confused.
Hollywood not have like big, hunky, muscular guys?
Not
and
shit.
we talked about this. I made the argument anybody could have played this role.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything so complicated. But you were like, well, exactly. If anybody could play it, why not Jason Momoa? Get out of here, bro. Like, if I thought that he would be playing Aquaman, someone else out there just as stupid must have thought the same thing. They could have cast someone else.
They definitely could have, but
anybody else.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they wanted you to make those connections and try and put things together. Like, there's plenty of people who would have been like, wait, what is he going to be like? It kind of jumps up mystery, and I don't know. I will say I never hated him as Aquaman. I liked him, funny enough, a little better here than there, even though this character is a lot more shallow. I think it's kind of fun to see him be just a big, shallow fucking bro who just doesn't like anything but drinking and swearing and cussing and killing people. So I don't know. I think that's I think that fits him really well.
Kind of funny. Okay, so we get Lobo, who I think Ruthie's intentions were to have him help. That wasn't going to happen. I don't think he would have. He's like very clearly like a bounty hunter in this world.
That's his thing. He does killing for money. Yep.
Yeah. But we do meet the couple that runs this dive bar.
Gosh,
who?
Yeah. Oh,
I know.
Gosh, yeah.
Again, I think this is maybe another example of a little bit of sloppy writing here with this couple. So we meet. So the people running this dive bar, man and a woman, who agree to give Kara information about Krem. They claim, if I'm remembering, that they know someone who knows where Krem is or can take them to Krem. Something like that. But the idea is they go back to their home. Kara and Ruthie go back to their home, to this couple's home. And they're going to wait for their buddy who can help them to show up. Now, we get a little bit of information about what Krem has been up to and what makes him a bad guy here. And the reveal basically is, Krem and his bros go planet to planet. They steal whatever they want. We also get the reveal here that they are an all-male race. I don't know if they use the word race.
It's just some bunch of guys.
Or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's just men. So they take girls, maybe young women. I don't know. They didn't tell us their ages, but they take from these planets things and also girls. So this couple has lost a daughter to Krem. Like Krem has taken their daughter. I did talk a little bit about this with you. I think that this premise was maybe. I didn't love it.
Go into it.
I didn't love it.
I
would have preferred if.
Let's do it.
I don't think there's anything wrong. Well, I think if they wanted to show, oh, this guy is so bad, the same message would have maybe fit the tone of this movie better if what they were doing instead was going planet to planet, stealing and taking little boys.
Okay.
Right? Because if you're an all male whatever group, it makes sense that you're stealing boys.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
To raise to be all. But instead, if you're stealing girls, then our brains, my brain at least, has to like make this whole like leap of, oh my God, they're stealing girls. They're raping them, right? They call them brides, bitch. These poor little girls in cages, right? Yeah. So there's like a sexual assault element there. And then if it's all male, you can't guarantee that every baby's going to be a boy. So then what do you do with the baby girls? It was too much. It was never really addressed aside from like, oh, Kara saved the brides. And it's like, well, you mean those traumatized teenagers? It just felt very, for the tone of this movie, I didn't think it was necessary. I wasn't a fan. I think maybe it served the purpose of making Krem like a truly horrific guy that is worthy of murdering at the end, like maybe. But and
we'll get into that, but they still didn't do a very good job of that part either. I think this whole thing kind of sets up 2 points for me. Number one, I'm surprised that. So number one, I'll say that my big problem with him, other than he doesn't really have a menacing villainous big aura, is that he seemed like, for the main villain, at almost no point in this movie did he ever have a real plan. Like, he didn't really have a plan. He didn't really have, like, it was just like he was going around doing his normal thing, and Kara would show up and try and stop him, but like some random bullshit would happen. He'll get away, and then it just keeps going. Like, there was never a plan. There was never a like there was never any point to where it seemed like he was doing anything cohesive that made sense. Throughout most of the movie, and especially after this scene, but especially around this scene, I was waiting for the big bad to show up, the real big bad, right? Like, I was waiting for this entire time for it to be like, all right, so he can't really, like, clearly this organization isn't being run by him. It's being run by someone else, like the real, like, you know, a Thanos of this universe or something, right? You know what I mean? But the second thing that this scene reminded me of and made me think of it is, I'm surprised at how bad they did I guess I can't say bad, but like, I'm surprised at how confusing and weird the child bride whole implication here is, because I think what you just said would have made perfect sense, and we've seen precedent for it in another James Gunn movie. So in Guardians of the Galaxy, right? I don't know if did you see the first Guardians movie or no? No?
I couldn't tell you. Maybe.
It has Chris Pratt as Star-Lord. It's like one of the first roles.
Yeah, no, I know.
Okay, well, I'm saying that's one of the first. You would know if you see. That's one of the first roles that he gets. Like,
the problem with these movies, honestly, is that
okay, it's fine, especially Guardians, because they're all kind of similar. Anyway, that doesn't matter. But the point is, in that movie, we find out that he was kidnapped, taken as a child from Earth by these like space pirates. So a very similar thing. I forgot what they call them. I don't know if they don't call them. I want to say the Junkers, but they're not. They're the Trashers. I forgot. They have some kind of weird, cool name besides just space pirates. But that's basically what they are. They go around, loot, and seemingly maybe kill or whatever. A little less dark. They seem like they have a lot more fun, but they do the same thing. They go around just abducting little boys, and no one questions it. Like, throughout those movies, we don't really question it. We're not like, oh, why are they like? It's a lot more clear what they're doing and how good or bad they are, compared to this, which is like you said, they drop a really, really, really dark implication on us, and it's like the movie's a little too afraid to go into it. And then they're a little too afraid to actually get into it, and it's like, that's kind of, you could have just not, like, you could have softened this up so much more, or just get into it.
Yeah, you could have, or you could have just not.
Exactly, like, we would have accepted that they're just dumb space pirates who like to steal stuff, and that's fine.
Yeah. But anyway, it's this couple that betrays Kara. I guess they've made a deal with Krem. Again, we don't really see that happen. We just are told that it happened. They make a deal with Krem where they'll give Krem Kara and Ruthie in exchange for their daughter. And then a lot of stuff seems to happen all at once here. It's like shit kind of hits the fan here. Where, in order to make that exchange, they poison Kara with the same poison that got Crypto, but because it's Kara, maybe it takes a little bit longer for it to.
I don't know. That whole thing was confusing. I don't really know.
It was very confusing. Yeah, she's drinking milk at one point. She's making herself throw up, all while fighting Krem because Krem has showed up.
Actually, it's very. So I actually thought the milk part was kind of funny. I thought that it showed that she's kind of. Okay. I just thought it was funny. It was clever. You know.
They don't even win is the problem, right? Like, she's able to free the brides, but the entire family that turned her in is killed.
Yeah, very, very weird. Yeah, they make also another instance of not a very good plan. Not a good plan. You know, it's like, hey, we see this super powerful girl here, the super powerful person who could drop anybody here on this planet like fly, like easily. Instead of recruiting her to maybe have her help us get our daughter back, we're gonna turn on her, and we believe the weird, evil, maybe, I don't want to say the word, but like the child abductee space pirate, he's gonna keep his word for sure. Yeah, like, he's, you know, it's very weird. It's like, why didn't you just lie to him and tell him, oh, we got her poisoned, but actually
that's
have
what I said.
Her ready to just swing on him? Yeah,
I said, why not just if I'm to believe that these parents like are so heartbroken about their daughter being dead. You can't even. They saw Kara fight in their bar, so they know she's really strong. They know she's capable.
Yes.
Why not ask her for help and explain, like, you know, we can have him agree to this deal, and then you'll be prepared to fight him. And it just felt very, or maybe honestly, they're thinking like, oh, Krem is so strong that she won't be able to win. I don't know. The whole thing felt a little messy.
I honestly think the only real purpose behind that kind of plot twist was to, yet again, it's probably for like the third or fourth time in this movie. They do it almost every fight scene in the movie, and they have to, right? Like the big challenge of having a super person, Supergirl, Superman, any kind of like invincible type character. Like, how do you make action scenes with them interesting? Well, you have to put them in weird situations where they can't fight at their full strength, and this is just another one of them. I'll give it to you. The movie had way more of these situations than I would have thought. You know, it would have been really easy for them to be lazy and been like, everyone has kryptonite, but no, they had all kinds of different means to, I guess, do it. But I don't know. That being said, I did actually kind of enjoy the fight scene. I thought it was a little messy, but I did like it, and I like the one that comes afterwards that we're about to get into even more.
Okay, so they leave that planet. Is that what you were thinking?
No.
Or are you thinking still that same fight? You in your mind, are you breaking it into two fight scenes?
I did. In my mind, yes. They're fighting in the apartment, but then eventually after I guess I'm thinking pre-throw up, post-throw up. So after she throws up, they kind of break out of the apartment. She goes and Krem shows up with all the child brides kind of suspended in the air, I guess, or whatever. So she frees them, or most of them. Like you said, he goes and like, well, what the fuck? That's not what we agreed. So he kills the parents. That sucks. And from this point on, Kara is just kind of fighting a bunch of guys, but also flying the different girls back and forth too.
Yeah.
But I think it was kind of cool just because it showed her trying to balance, like, I have to be a hero and save all these people. It's a little bit of the Superman thing from David's movie, David Cornsweat, where he's like, I can't let a single life kind of go. She doesn't do that literally, but she does that with all the all the kids. And I thought that was cool, but at the same time, she's balancing, all right, I got to keep these people safe by kicking their ass. So I thought it was just I always love those types of moments when you have superpowered, like, flying characters. Like, I got to save people, but also got to fight people at the same time.
Okay. Yeah, to me, it all blended into, like, one big, almost, I don't want to say mess, because that feels so, like, but...
It was definitely a little messy. I think that's appropriate. It was messy. It wasn't perfect, but I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, we got Lobo on his, like, Harley, his, like, bike, whatever.
Yes.
Yeah. Not that interested in that, but okay. Yeah, and this is another one of those moments where Ruthie sort of steps in thinking that she's going to do something in the moment, and she's not able to actually attack, let alone kill Krem. So it just kind of gets in the way.
Yeah. So what actually happens is exactly what you said. Yeah, there's a weird moment where there's the daughter of the couple is somehow she gets tracked down by Krem, because it's not enough that he just killed those people. He also has to go through and be like, I'm gonna find their daughter too and kill her, I guess. And so he tracks her down, and she's like running, and it's just them two. And Ruthie kind of sees it, and she goes and she's like, all right, well, I'm gonna stop him. And there's a point, I think, where she has her sword like kind of to his back, I think, if I remember.
Yeah, she's behind him.
Yeah, but she doesn't do it because Kara comes in and stops her. And then, or something along. And I think in Kara's head, she was like, well, I'm trying to save you, Ruthie, because I don't think you were really going to be able to do it. Because, and to be fair, on this point, I'm kind of team Kara, because I'm like, there's no point in this where Ruthie showed the ability or the capability to be able to really fight anybody up until this point in the movie, let alone kill the main guy. Because we see, even though we don't think he's that menacing, he is kind of durable. He is kind of strong. Like, he's not on the level of some random street thug, even if he feels like it. So there's no reason for Kara to see that situation and think, oh yeah, if Ruthie's going to be able to do it. So she swoops in and saves Ruthie. And Ruthie flips out on her, as like, because he takes that opportunity just to kill the little girl. And Ruthie's like, well, if you would have let me do it, he wouldn't have done that. And Kara's just like, bitch, what? Like, I don't know. It's very weird.
Yeah. And then we can talk about this quickly because this happens before this mess of a fight scene. Kara and Ruthie have a moment when they're in the couple's home.
Yes.
There's like this.
Yes.
I don't know if tonally it was like in the right spot. Whatever. It has to happen. And I guess it has to happen before the moment where Kara stops Ruthie from killing Crumb. So you kind of had to squeeze it in between the dive bar with Lobo and then this fight with Crumb and his guys. Yes. Which is, we get this conversation between Kara and Ruthie where I think Ruthie maybe asks, like, you know, where are you from? Asks for some more information on Kara, who has been a little secretive at this point. And Kara tells her, like, oh, you know, I'm from...
I thought they did it really well, for sure.
Yeah. A little bit of, like, Kara. And, I mean, I'm not interested in rehashing, I guess, the entire movie. But I liked the flashback. Like, I liked the little bit of information that we get. Yes. I thought it was fine. I like the perspective of like, or I guess I liked seeing like why maybe Kara didn't feel, how her upbringing didn't make her as attached to Earth the way that David is, the way that Superman is.
Right,
Clark.
exactly.
Right.
Yes.
I thought that's what was important. I didn't care so much about, I guess, the logistics of it. Like, oh, well, my planet like blew up. I think I still don't fully understand. And then, you know, the rock we were on was poisoning the people, so I had to get out of there. Roughly, is that what happened?
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, there was something going on with like the planet's core was like, you know, unstable, but at the same time, everybody there was literally poisoned. You know, falling sick. You know what it kind of reminded me of a little bit. Did you say you were all the way caught up on Invincible or no?
I think I gave up like after season 3.
So you're not. Then I'm not going to say it yet. But yeah, there's a point where they kind of show the Viltrumite backstory, what happens to their planets and why there's not a whole lot of them left. But yeah, it's very, if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. Kind of similar. Anyways, yeah, I also really like the flashback too. I thought the most powerful, impactful thing from it was the message that Kara's parents kind of give to her, and kind of instill in her, being like, you know, hey, like, you're gonna be a good person. You have to go on. You have to live, not just because, you know, you're our daughter, we want you to live, but it's like your souls, your representations of us. Like, you are, like, we're doomed. But if you die along with us, then what was all this for? You know?
Yeah.
And
I
she
thought
takes that and.
Yeah, I guess we could have had that without having like that much of it. Like, you could have gotten that message. Went on a little, just a tiny bit.
I almost feel the same way. I do feel like that flashback went on long, but then when you look at the whole runtime of the movie, it's not a super long movie. So I guess
I think we need to go back to like 80-90 minutes tops. Trim some of this fat clean off.
This was an hour 48, which is shorter than most superhero movies these days. Like, it's like
108.
Pretty,
that's, I mean,
I don't know. I guess I'm used to like long, like,
you could have taken
not even
just
superhero movies. 20 is a little aggressive. I will give you 10 at the most. 20 feels a little aggressive. Off the entire movie, you think so?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, especially for a superhero movie. I don't need half of the shit in here.
But that's not fair, because you just don't like these types of genres. I don't know. I feel like I'm not even going to compare it just to superhero movies. I feel like in general, a lot of movies recently are pushing. I feel like 2 hours is like the standard now. So the fact that anytime anybody stays under 2 is like, oh, and that's including credits and everything. It's like, oh, like you guys are flying through this, which I'm not mad at. Like, the pacing overall felt okay to me. It didn't feel terrible. You're right. There's some parts that were a little unnecessary, but I think it's not horrible. You know what I mean? I like where we ended up, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, we get that. We get
exposition. Yep. We get the whole backstory. Yep.
Just a whole lot of backstory on Kara. We understand the girls are connected by their grief. Cool. And then we also get sort of reiterated by Kara, like, killing Krem is not going to do what you think it'll do, which is somehow make you feel better about the fact that your parents are gone.
Yes.
Fair. Okay. They're able to, Krem and his people are able to escape the planet.
Yep. Somehow.
They leave. And Kara's able to like track down one of the guys that's on there. I have no idea how. I know there has to be a connection there. I think from the dive bar, something that I'm missing there. Whatever.
There was something. I agree, but I don't fully remember what it was.
Yeah, she goes after a guy and is like, "Tell me where he's gone," and the guy knows, and so he takes her there. At this point, she's told Ruthie to like fuck off. She's like, "I'm gonna do this alone," but Ruthie tags along anyway.
Well, that's because Ruthie blew up on her first because she stopped her from killing Krem, and then Kara's like, "Well, I don't need this, so I want to do this alone anyway. So see ya."
Yeah. Then so then they end up on a new planet, right? Yeah. Yeah. This is planet Barrington, which has a green and yellow sun.
Oh my gosh. Yep. It sure does.
Quick recap. We know the yellow sun heals. Red sun makes her powers like not work, I guess, or less powerful. Green sun acts almost like kryptonite, if not kryptonite.
Exactly like kryptonite. Yeah.
So she gets to this planet and the green sun is just coming up. So she's immediately like out on her ass. I think Ruthie eventually shows up and like hauls her into a cave and is like, "Here, I'm shielding you from the sun," but like she still doesn't look great. And when they get to this planet, they realize that this is where they brought her spaceship. So her spaceship happens to be on this planet. I think the only reason that line was written in there was so that Ruthie could bring her suit. Because otherwise, how do you get the suit?
I think that's true for sure, because you need the suit for the big bad battle fight at the end. So it definitely makes sense. Yeah, I got a lot of problems with everything. Not everything, but a lot of things that happen from here on out. But the main thing, I'll talk about my biggest kind of gripe, probably second biggest gripe with this entire movie in general. I think the pacing was fine. I think they stayed good with the plot the whole time. Didn't love the villain, but fine, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. In general, though, I think this whole thing on this planet was such bullshit that it drives me crazy. So I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit, but past some of the things that happened. But essentially, it seems like, how earlier I said that Krem didn't really have very many moments where he had any kind of well thought out plan. Mm-hmm. I think this was his attempt at one. Finally, he knows after he's had at this point 2 or 3 different run-ins with Supergirl, he's like, all right, this girl isn't gonna leave me alone. She's not gonna stop. So, and she's clearly strong. I've seen her fight a couple times. I guess she's Kryptonian. Cool. All right. He figures that out. Cool. I think his plan was to lure her into this planet that would weaken her, right? Like that, that was clearly what he was going for, right? That's why they ended up there. Because as soon as she gets off the boat, bus, whatever, she basically passes out. Cool. My issue is, if you're gonna do that, you can't find another planet because if it's going by the sun, right, you can't find another planet that has more time under the green sun and less under the yellow sun. Because I'm going to skip a little bit ahead, but what happens is she's under the green sun for, I don't know, 12 hours, 18 hours, who knows. At this point, the whole 72-hour time countdown they gave us is bullshit. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Literally means nothing by this point, right? I think at a certain point they even stopped looking back at the clock, so who cares? We don't know how much time is left. It doesn't matter. It's as much as needs to happen. And there's never a point where she gets back and she's like, oh, I only had this much time. Like, it doesn't matter. Anyways, she gets there. The green sun is really bad and it looks like it's going to kill her. And you know what? The reason I think I'm so mad is because in that moment, I'm really thinking, okay, I know how this goes. She's going to get out of it, but how? Like, how is she going to heal from this? Like, and then just to find out later on, the green sun goes down and a yellow sun comes up. So she's like, I'm good again. I'm cool. I'm back.
What did you think would happen if the planet has 2 suns?
I had no idea. I don't know. I guess I'm not really sure. Number one, I think if I'm being honest, they didn't, when they landed on the planet, they said some weird wording. It said like green and yellow solar energy or something like that. I don't know. I don't remember the words, but I guess I didn't put it together that like, oh yeah, there was yellow there too. It also flashed on the screen kind of quick, so maybe I just didn't read the whole thing.
Okay.
But either way, I guess I'm not gonna lie. Part of this is on me. Even if I had known that's what's going to happen, I think it's kind of bullshit. I think it's like if you're going to put really high stakes for the main character, for them to have to fight out of, I think having them not have to fight out of it at all and just wait it out is kind of bullshit. Like that's not great storytelling. She doesn't really gain anything from this. She didn't learn anything about herself except that she can wait. Like she didn't really have to do. I don't want to say she didn't go through anything because she looked like she was about to die, but nothing happened, and it felt like this whole part of the movie was just an excuse for, all right, we need to put Kara on the sidelines for like 10 minutes while we get some stuff with Lobo and
Ruthie. Yeah.
So let's get into the Lobo. Ruthie.
Yeah, because Ruthie gets captured on this planet. She drags Kara into a cave and is like, well, you'll wait it out here, because I think they both understand that the green sun will eventually go down and the yellow sun will rise. And then Kara asks her for water. And so Ruthie leaves the cave and she gets captured by some of Krem's guys. She gets put in a holding cell right next to Lobo. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's cute, I guess. Their interactions were cute. She eventually, she tells Krem to his face, like, I'm not telling you where Kara is. But then we get a cut straight to then her being like, let me out of here, take me to Krem, I'll tell him whatever he wants to know. And the guards come to unlock her or whatever and get her out of there. And she attacks instead, and she attacks and then also frees Lobo as well. And there's she at no point goes like, okay, now help me get to Kara or whatever. No. She just lets him undoes his
lets him go, and then she leaves.
Yeah. She escapes through the vents. And Lobo presumably escapes and goes and finds his bike, because the next time we see him, he has it.
He's on his bike. Yeah,
but then his bike
was kind of cool, by the way,
I guess. Sure.
It's a space motorcycle. It's kind of cool. It just hovered. I don't know, I thought it was cool looking.
Sure. Yeah, we cut to, I guess, on top of this ship that they're on. Mm-hmm. Krem, Ruthie eventually gets up there, I think, and is mm-hmm. But Krem sees her again. That part's a little fuzzy. But as he's getting ready to attack Ruthie, mm-hmm. we get the reveal of Kara in her Supergirl suit, which Ruthie again conveniently brought to her in the cave.
Yeah. I thought, it's cute, I guess. Whatever.
Yeah, it was cute. I think we get a little, I don't remember if this is where, I don't think this is where the middle plays yet, but there's something playing, some music, cute scene. She's in the air in the Supergirl pose, with the one knee up, whatever.
Yeah.
And she attacks, and it's under a yellow sun now, so she's all good to go.
Conveniently,
we think
the yellow sun is here now. Yeah.
Fight's going okay, I guess, but then as she gets closer to Krem is able to attack her with some kryptonite darts. Yes.
For someone who, so I'll say this. Krem, for someone who seemingly just flies off the seat of his pants for almost everything and really doesn't plan ahead too much, and just met Supergirl within 72 hours previously, mm-hmm. and we also know majority of the Kryptonians in the universe are gone because their planet's been gone for years. Mm-hmm. The only other real notable big one is on Earth and hasn't left Earth since he got there, from what we understand in this universe. So how does Krem know and have so many different ways to deal with fighting Kryptonians? And that's the other thing that kind of, because he has two different poisons, or maybe the same poison they can use in two different ways to deal with her. And he has kryptonite, and he knows to bring her to this green sun. And it's like, okay, but he's also an idiot, and you can tell. And I say that if you watch the movie, you can tell his lines, his dialogue, how he treats things. There's there's nothing in this movie that gives any kind of battle mastermind or anything. We know a lot of people are afraid of him. I'm assuming they're afraid of him because he has a lot of guys behind him, right? It's a whole gang of guys, and no one can really deal with him. So I don't know, that it goes back to what I talked about here on this planet. I'm like, why is he? I just didn't like him as the villain. I guess that's a big thing. I really didn't like it, and culminated so much here because they tried to make him competent here, and it just did not work for me, like, at all. Like, I was just like, all right, man, if you say so.
Okay, well, either way, she gets hit by kryptonite darts. And Lobo's the one that ultimately comes in and saves the day a little bit in this moment, just until she's good enough to like rip the darts off of her, like literally like rip them off and get back in there and fight. You liked the suit. I could have done without it. I was
so
like,
if it wasn't here, you don't think there's any point at all in the movie where, like, the movie about Supergirl called Supergirl, that we get the Supergirl suit?
Girl, I don't give a fuck about that
we
suit.
wouldn't have had it with it. But then it's just like, at that point, you just call the movie Kara and Ruthie's Adventure. Like,
isn't that what this was?
Something. Yes, but I'm saying, and you got to have some kind of, like, there has to be some kind of triumphant moment.
I guess
where,
for the movie poster,
you know,
sure. She called it a stupid suit. I agreed with her. The whole time I was like, yeah, it made sense in the flashback when she comes back to Earth and she's wearing it, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
In this moment, I was like, and I know it took her like all of 2 minutes to put the thing on, not a big deal, but just the thought of, like, she wakes up in her cave and she's like, I guess I got to put these little silver boots or gold boots on before flying off and rescuing Ruthie.
I think there's a point in there where they try and make it make some sense, where the moment, and this is part of the reason why the green yellow sun thing doesn't make sense. They try and give her this really cool empowering moment where one of the reasons we're led to believe that she's able to come back and be super strong and beat everybody is not just because of yellow sun, but because, well, mostly because of that, but she also remembers a thing that Clark said where she has a flashback at this moment of him on Earth being like, I know the colors of the suit look stupid, but it's because, what does he say? He says
it's so people know we're good. We're the good guys.
Yes, exactly. You see the red, blue, and yellow. It's because we got it. That's if I saw somebody flying around in red, blue, and yellow, I'm like, yeah, they're probably not that much of a danger. They got good intentions, and I think the whole thing is to remind her that, like, oh yeah, I am good. I think the whole thing works better if she actually had to, like, do something to wake her, maybe give herself an adrenaline shot or something to, like, wake herself up, not just like, all right, I'm going to get up anyway because the yellow sun's up, and now it's time to go do the big fight.
Yeah.
Like, I think that whole moment is kind of like, it falls a little flat because, again, the stakes aren't really there. You just got to wait it out.
Yeah, I felt whatever about the suit.
I thought, that being said, I loved how the suit looked. I thought it was cute. I thought it was a good suit.
Yeah. So we get, with the help of Lobo, she's able to sort of get back into the fight.
Yes.
And then it really just feels like a fight to kill Krem. Like, what else was the goal of this, right?
Yeah, because the little girls weren't, I don't think they were here, were they?
She breaks them out, but it doesn't take long. Like, I think
I guess that's true. Yeah.
takes Ruthie and, like, runs her far away from the ship.
Yeah.
Or flies her far away, drops her off, and it's like, you chill here. And then she goes back to get the brides. Again, a thing that we don't really address. Again.
We don't talk about it.
But they're
We've
locked up.
talked about it more than the movie talks about it.
Preteen girls locked up in this cage. Freeze them. And then by the time she gets back to Ruthie, Krem is there. And that's it, right?
Basically.
Am I missing anything up until the point where you have I
mean, there's a needle drop moment which is kind of cool where, like, they play the song and she does the big fight with all the little guys. I'm doing a bad job of describing it, but basically it's a James Gunn staple in almost all of his movies. He does doing a needle drop where, okay, we're going to have all the characters do a really cool big fight, all the good guys, and you can see them at their best, doing their best fights. Like in Guardians movies, this is where it's a lot of chaos. Everybody's running around shooting, fighting stuff, and they always have some cool like 80s background music playing in the background, and you don't hear any dialogue. They did the same thing in Superman, where Mr. Terrific and Lois are Lois is sitting there like trying not to die. Mr. Terrific is fighting all those guys at that like army base or whatever, and I forgot what song they playing, but it's kind of cool. And they do the same thing here. Kara's basically just whipping ass all up and down the desert through with these people, and I don't remember what'd you say the name of the song was?
It's The Middle. It's a cover of The Middle by Jimmy Eat World.
A cover of The Middle, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And not a great cover
on a song. Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but okay.
Yeah, I would say this, out of all the I guess needle drop moments I just mentioned, this one is maybe the weakest, but it's not bad. It's all right.
Yeah. But eventually she's able to take on all the other guys, and it gets to a point where it's just Krem, who she's like, I guess beat up bad enough that he's like on his back, like, you know,
yes,
ready for the final blow. And that's when Ruthie steps in. Do I have that right?
Yeah, somehow Ruthie ends up being the first one there, like, and she has her sword and she's ready to just like, I'm gonna do it. And he says something snarky and giggles or something. I don't know. I don't remember, but he says something. But Kara shows up and she's like, yo, Ruthie, don't do that. We've been talking about this the whole movie. Like, this whole killing him isn't gonna bring your family back. It's not gonna make you feel better. If anything, you'll just have to carry this guilt around for the rest of your life. Don't do it. Yeah.
And Ruthie decides not to. She's like, okay, and walks away.
Good on her. Yes. Yeah,
I don't know if Krem makes like a weird comment here.
I think he says something weird to Kara. I think he says something. I don't remember, because something like antagonizes her at some point, because she gets like angry, and he says something before. I mean, she does it. Like Ruthie walks away and Kara kills him.
Yeah.
Which I think she has. Oh.
So my opinions here, I just quickly, because I really don't have many opinions here. I don't understand why it would be crazy to kill Krem. Like, I didn't think that there was. I also didn't. I guess as someone who is not a huge fan of this genre or doesn't watch a ton of movies of this genre, I don't see it as like, oh, you know, superheroes do have the right to kill. They don't. Their duties to protect. I don't give a fuck. Like, I was like, yeah, obviously Kara would kill him. Like, this dude is a psycho, a thief, a rapist, a murderer. Yeah. Why would you not? Yeah. So when she took over and killed him in Ruthie's place, I was like, oh, okay, and the movie's done. I guess now we got to save Crypto or whatever. But to me, I was like, okay, that's it. That's the end.
That's it. Yeah. I think functionally that was the end. Quick thoughts. For me, I felt a little weird in the exact moment when I watched her kill Krem, because two reasons. I think number one, I thought that most of the time in these types of films in superhero genres, there are heroes that do kill. There are some that don't. Right. I'm not gonna say one is right, one is wrong. Like, I love characters on both sides. Characters who kill, characters who don't. But the point is, usually when they do it, there usually is like a moment behind it, like a big, like, there's some kind of, either they do it and they feel a certain type of way about it, because even if they always do it, they have some character or something in the background kind of trying to talk them out of it or whatever. And then, or if they don't do it, it's because there's usually another character there that's just like, hey, like, actually, like, why don't you just do it? You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? What are you waiting for? Why would you let them just walk away? And the point is, either, and then they have to live with that decision, whatever decision they made going forward. I think the big thing here for me is just that it felt like Kara treated like it just really wasn't that big a deal. And maybe in reality it wasn't, but I guess for the genre and what it usually is, it kind of should be a big deal. Especially considering I mean, to James Gunn's credit, he's trying to do things differently. So I guess maybe he was intentionally doing it differently, but in Man of Steel, which was the Man of Steel that came out a few years ago, the first Henry Cavill Superman movie, he kills the villain at the end, snaps his neck. He does it out of protection because if he doesn't, the guy's literally gonna murder a bunch of people right in front of him. So he does it for a reason, but it's a big dramatic moment. A lot of people hated that because they're like, well, Superman would never do it. Fair. But at the same time, they at least make a big dramatic moment out of it. And then they kind of go back to it more and more throughout the series and stuff from here. I feel like this just, they treated it like it wasn't that big a deal. But I'm like, it should be a little bit of a deal. Doesn't have to weigh on her forever, but it should be some kind of deal, especially if you just talk someone else out of doing it. Like if you just kind of gave a little mini pep talk to Ruthie about some of the guilt you have to walk around with after you do this, it feels like you should at least think an extra minute before you openly are like, yeah, whatever, I don't mind walking around with it. That being said, I didn't hate it. It wasn't the worst thing in the world. It was fine. Like I've seen so many endings way worse than this in so many movies. So I still liked it. I just wish they would have gave us a little more drama with this moment. That's all.
Okay. I thought it was okay. Yeah. So again, the ending after that moment where we get the death of Krem is just Kara making it back to her planet. We don't see that journey at all. Just she's back there with the antidote. Yeah. They save Crypto, and then we get her saying bye to Ruthie, and Ruthie being like, "Yep. Oh, I'm gonna go chill with my aunt or something," which never alluded to her before, but okay.
Yeah, that was very random. I think it was just. I think at that point the movie realized, oh yeah, she is a child, so we can't just let her go off on her own. Mm-hmm. But we can't just have Kara be like, hey, come kick it with me from the jump. Like Kara doesn't seem like the character who will be open to just like having a sidekick.
Yeah, that was weird because she does then go like, well, I didn't finish celebrating my birthday. And then Ruthie runs back to her in the spaceship. So it seems like, oh, they're going to go and
do more space stuff. Yeah.
I guess. Celebrate. I don't know. Meet up at Dave and Buster's or something. I have no idea like what that implied.
I think Ruthie didn't she make some kind of comment earlier in the show or in the movie, about what Earth is like or something?
Oh, I didn't.
Because I think
sure she assumes that she's from Earth.
Yes, and so she brings it up.
Like, no, actually,
but I think at some point she also talks about a little bit about Earth. I don't like it that much. My cousin Clark's there. He sucks, and so on and so forth. Whatever.
Yeah, and I loved David Cornsweet's Superman. Like I really liked that movie. This movie made me hate him.
That's what I was waiting on. I was about to. Oh man.
Well, I just think hilarious. It was a little weird that like Ruthie and her decide to like continue hanging out or to celebrate her birthday. Well, I don't know. Maybe we're overthinking that, and it's just like, oh, let's go like grab some food or something. A Chili's triple dipper. Maybe it's that simple. But then we do get a weird. To me, it just felt weird because I was like, I didn't need it. It could have ended with just them like giggling back to Kara's spaceship. But we get a scene where she is back on Earth, right? She like is in Superman's apartment. Do you know that video?
Yeah, I think it's apartment. Yeah.
And he makes a comment about like, oh, how was your birthday? And she essentially says like, oh, I think I'm okay to stay here this time a little longer on Earth. And then that's the end of the movie. You didn't
like that?
I don't think it was necessary. Like I think it was almost like people want every movie to tee up the next one. And so that's what this felt like. Yeah. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Again, could have trimmed the fat. Get rid of that scene.
I'll give him a little bit of a pass on that it doesn't fully just tee up the next one. It does a little bit. I'm not going to lie. But I'll give him a little pass because we didn't really talk about it a whole lot in this, in our review. But there are quite a few moments throughout this movie where Kara brings up like she remembers, or what, I don't even know if she says it all the time, but we see flashbacks of her thinking about her time on Earth with David Cornsweet's Superman, and it seems like there was almost this kind of tension between them, not in like a bad way, not like she hated him or he hated her or anything, but like he's his personality overly cheery and like trying to be welcoming but not doing the best job, and she's just like, bro, I fucking hate it here. Like she gives off the vibe of like a teenager at her being on Earth with him. It gives out the the vibe of a teenager being like, I can't wait till I'm old enough to get up and move out of this fucking
Yeah,
house.
yeah, yeah.
And so, but because the movie teed that up several times throughout, the fact that they give us that as part of the resolution, where it's kind of like you grow up and you get into your 20s and you go back home, not necessarily to live there, but you're just back there with your parents and you're like, I guess they weren't that bad. That's kind of what it feels like.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's the end of the movie. That is it.
Yeah. Overall, I mean, lot to hate. Just kidding. A lot to maybe want to
nitpick.
change.
A lot to nitpick.
Yeah.
I think, at least for me, the reason I kind of nitpicked the movie a little bit hard was because I saw a lot of potential in it. I really like Kara as a character. Even though it seems like I didn't, I think Ruthie is one of the better sidekicks in a movie I've seen in a really long time. Even though he barely had any lines, I liked Lobo a lot. And I love David Gordon Sweat's Superman, right? And so I feel like I am a lot into the world building of this universe and stuff. So I feel like they have a lot of potential, and I'm really looking forward to what they do next. But that being said, I wanted maybe a little bit more of this, but it wasn't bad. That's not to say like, oh, it sucked or it was horrible. It was like, it was cool. It was cool. I definitely had a fun time watching it in the theater. And when I walked out, I was happy that I went to go see it for sure.
I think if you like superhero movies, you probably have already seen it, so not really a point. And if you don't like superhero movies, I don't think this is maybe like one of the memorable, to me at least. I wouldn't put this up there with like, can't even think of an example of one that I would.
That's fair.
But I'm saying like it was okay. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was on the shorter end, which was much appreciated.
Definitely.
It was okay.
And yeah, and if you did like this movie or you seen it and you like certain parts of it, I actually have a couple recommendations that I think you should kind of give it a watch and just see what they're like. One of them, first one, Legend of Korra. So Legend of Korra, the connection between this and Legend of Korra, funny enough, we kind of didn't really talk about it a lot in the review, but when Legend of Korra first dropped, right after Avatar was such a big hit, whatever, everyone's really excited about it. Kind of similar to how this dropped after Superman, and that was a really big hit. It kind of fell to some not great reviews early on, and a big part of that was just because, if I'm being honest, I think a lot of people still are really weird about seeing kind of women in these leading roles in these action movies or TV shows or whatever. Like I've seen a lot of people online talk about when it comes to Supergirl, like, oh, they're trying to be too woke. Like, why do we need a Supergirl? We already have a Superman.
Yeah, that feels very true to the genre.
Yeah, for sure. There, I mean, I'll be honest. There's a lot of straight up just women hating incels in this community. That's just what it is. Kind of sucks. But either way, if you're not one of those people, you haven't seen Legend of Korra already, give it a watch. I think you really will enjoy it. Kind of like Supergirl compared to Superman, right? It brings some pretty heavier, darker themes into that. Compared to Avatar: Last Airbender, it feels like kind of a darker tone show overall, but it is a really, really good watch. And by the end, I think it's 4 seasons in total, I believe. And by the end, it is really, really, really impressive. Like what they do as far as the action and how once Korra finally becomes kind of a fully realized Avatar, it is very, very, very impressive. My second recommendation, Peacemaker, the TV show starring John Cena as the lead actor. He's playing Peacemaker, who is this weird kind of like anti-hero. He's strange. That's the best way I can put it. But he comes from the Suicide Squad, which is the remake of Suicide Squad, not to be confused with the original one that really sucked way back in the old DCU that came out in, I don't remember, what was that, 2013, 2014, something like that. This one's very recent, came out in 2021 or 22, I believe. Really good. John Cena probably puts on one of his best performances in this, if not his best performance as an actor. And the reason I'm bringing it up, not because of John Cena, it's some of James Gunn's best work. So if you thought that this needle drop here was kind of cool, or you saw some of the James Gunn influence in this movie, like I did, and you liked it, you will love Peacemaker. That is probably James Gunn's best work, like easily, in my opinion. Another one of James Gunn's best projects, the Guardians trilogy. Really, any of them, any of the three, ideally all three of them, but Guardians of the Galaxy. As far as movies go, that's probably James Gunn's best work easily. And I think the similarity between that and those movies and this one is unlike a lot of superhero movies. Those movies are not afraid to really try to hit some really heavy emotional depth. Like they're going to make you feel some things, especially Guardians 3. It's not just like punch action. We're arguing. Oh, now we get along. All right, cool. Now we save the day. No, like there's some real heavy stuff in those movies, and I think this movie actually surprisingly could have learned a little bit from those, because I think this movie tried to do that but missed the mark just a little bit. But yeah, those are my three recs. The Guardians trilogy, which is like three recommendations in its own. It's kind of cheating, but whatever. Peacemaker and The Legend of Korra.
Okay. I don't think I will watch any of those.
Right. Well, I was giving it to the audience in general. If anybody has seen it, I know they wouldn't be your cup of tea, but I was giving it to the audience. Like, if you like this, then you will love any of those or all of those for sure.
Cool. All right. I think that's a wrap on Supergirl.
Yes, that was Supergirl.
Okay, now we thought of a fun way to decide on our video for next week. So the next movie. We each nominated 4 movies as potential options for the wheel.
The wheel.
The wheel.
The wheel.
I'll start us off. Actually, you start us off, because we are looking at Logan, option number 1.
Yes, so Logan was my suggestion, and the reason I suggested Logan was it kind of tied, and we should probably say this, all of these in one way or the other sort of relate to the episode we did today, Supergirl. So the reason that I suggested Logan was because they're kind of similar characters in the way they carry a lot of trauma and the way they drink a lot. So mostly the way they drink a lot. That was my main thought process behind it. If you like seeing Kara sit at bars and then get drunk and then beat people up while she's at those bars, you will love Logan.
Okay, love it. Sky high. That's how they say it in the movie. This was one of my nominations. I love this movie. I think if we're looking at like the landscape of modern superhero movies, I think this beats a lot of them. Concise storytelling, tight 90, love it. And we get like a villain who isn't a villain. We get War and Peace, who's just like a fun character. The idea of, a guy being this child of a hero and a villain, just so good. There's so many lovely gems here. That's one of mine.
Okay, Guardians of the Galaxy. Yes, Guardians of the Galaxy. I brought it up a little bit earlier. All I gotta say is James Gunn. He if you thought this or David Cornsweat Superman was good, Guardians is that times 10. It's really lovable, really fun, heartfelt. You'd love it for sure. And I think it'll be a really fun podcast episode. Next,
Batman Returns.
Okay.
Give it up for the sexiest Catwoman to ever exist. This is Michelle Pfeiffer at her best. I really want this one to win just because I personally want to rewatch this movie strictly for the Michelle Pfeiffer scenes. Everything about this Catwoman is stunning. That's Danny DeVito as the Penguin and somebody as Batman who really gives a fuck. So good. I'm excited if this one wins.
Not the who.
I'm gonna see if I can get like a patent leather suit or something.
Oh my god, if you wear a patent leather suit to the
like a mask maybe,
if you wear that, then I will wear a Batman mask the whole time.
I thought you were gonna say a penguin, like a top hat.
I guess a top hat would be easier, maybe. All right,
yeah, probably.
What we got next? The Suicide Squad. Okay, so I'm gonna say his name.
Writing James Gunn's.
I mean, so yes, James Gunn is he's really, really good. He's really good at what he does, and this is technically, I think I didn't say it before, some people consider this the beginning of his run as like DC's new Kevin Feige. I don't know where it falls in the timeline, whatever, it doesn't matter. But anyway, this one is really good too. And it is super funny. And I just made the connection because James Gunn, and I want an excuse to watch that movie again. Love it.
Okay. Totally Spies.
Okay.
I wish we had started with this one, and I just didn't say anything, implying that you were the one that nominated it.
That would have been funny,
I love
but
Totally
I wouldn't have been able to
Spies,
explain
the TV
it.
show.
Yeah.
There is a movie. I don't know if I've seen the movie. I'm sure I have. I was obsessed with the show. I made the point to Dominic, if we're counting Batman and like Iron Man as superheroes, then I think Totally Spies also count as superheroes. They're just like girls who fight and protect people and do it in cute ass outfits and some gadgets and gizmos.
Really quick, if we did do the Totally Spies, if that wins, we should probably let people know. Would that be us reviewing like a particular episode or the series or the finale? The movie? Cool. Totally Spies.
There's a movie, yeah.
Totally Spies, Go to the Movies is what it's called, I think, right?
Totally Spies, the movie.
The movie. Okay.
They're,
I don't know where
they're technically a French show, so all the ones I looked up were like Totally Spies, le film. So maybe a movie with subtitles.
Cool.
Cross that bridge when we get there.
All right. And then Black Widow. So Black Widow, I think, it's a pretty good movie. I think it fits kind of similar on this, where you have a really strong female lead who goes through a lot of. She has to deal with the kind of trauma and baggage that she went through of her childhood, essentially, and she still carries it to this day with her. But in this particular movie, just like in Supergirl, we see her kind of actually deal with it. She's been running from it from a very long time, but now she's finally dealing with it and going forward. This is how she's going to be able to move forward after she's healed from it. Black Widow, a little different because it's a prequel and, whatever, but same concept.
Cool. Charlie's Angel, last one on the wheel. Charlie's Angels.
Okay.
Yeah, if I'm counting Totally Spies as superheroes, then so are the Charlie's Angels. This movie's also fantastic. A 2000s masterpiece. The outfits. I'm in love with Lucy Liu. Just all around great movie. Good stuff.
All right, let's give that wheel a spin and decide our fate.
You ready?
Let's do it.
I'm gonna hold the base with one hand because I'm a little nervous.
The inaugural wheel spin, the first of many to come. Let's do it. I wish I had a little noise. And Charlie's Angels. Okay, I feel like it's a little rigged, but it's fine.
I just spin it hard.
Let's do. Okay, no, for sure.
I don't want to.
I definitely couldn't see your hand in the back, like holding it one end, but it's okay. It's totally fine. No, it's fine. Charlie's Angels is a good movie. I'm looking forward to it. All right, so next week, y'all, we are gonna do Charlie's Angels. I need to try and find. I got a week to try and find a way to hopefully legally watch that movie. Because I haven't seen it in a long time.
Destiny's Child is on this soundtrack.
Oh yeah, that'll be good. Thank you. But that's gonna be it for the show. Unless you had any closing thoughts or anything.
Oh, I did. Well, I could have made this a little smoother.
It's okay. What you got?
I can't integrate it now, I don't think. I was just gonna start and I was gonna see if you would stop me.
Sure.
We come to this place for magic.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I was gonna go on the whole thing. I'll save it for another time where I could maybe sneak it in a little smoother.
Yes.
I was waiting. I was like, is there any point here where I could be like, I don't know, something about the movie, the sound, I could feel it. Somehow
that would have been
heartbreak felt good.
It would have been perfect at the very beginning of this episode when we were talking about.
I know, I thought about that
about
too.
the movies, but it's okay.
I thought about that, but I was like, no, that feels a little too obvious if I just started on my Nicole Kidman run. But
yep, that's it, you guys.
Next week, Charlie's Angel.
For sure. Next week, Charlie's Angels. This has been Supergirl. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us on YouTube, TikTok. Coming soon, probably Spotify, Apple Music,
all the other stuff,
all the other different stuff. But yeah, thank you guys so much. We'll see you next week. See ya.